Oh. So he decides to go with his best friend Tim, and that's how it all goes horribly wrong. They find this virus, Tim gets infected, and they bring it back to Noah. And he's always been tempted by this thought that if he could only perfect this virus, which has the ability to cure everyone in the whole world of all diseases, then he will be justified, in his actions. So does the end justify the means? So it's like the devil's tempting him. He keeps, the devil keeps saying, just keep going one step further. And the first
you are muted. You can mute or unmute yourself by pressing star.
So it's a really interesting role for me to play, when I think of it that way. But I think, everyone is in that sort of dilemma. Perhaps not, like Brad. I mean, Brad Mogast is doing his job without asking any questions. How guilty is he of where they are now? So everyone has their own little, but that's what makes it fun for the audience as well, to figure out which character they identify with and what they would have done in that situation. I often play the game, the what if game. What if he had never gone to Bolivia and just stayed with his wife? This would never have evolved. This whole would never have happened. Yeah. I think I've spoken too much on the so I'll just stop. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. Poppy from Sci-Fi UK, do you want to go next?
Hi, yes, please, thank you. So my question was, do you think the show sort of blurs the lines between sci-fi and real life? Do you think that this is the kind of sci-fi that could potentially actually end up happening?
Gosh, could this really happen? Well, I'm sure there are experiments being done unknown to us. This has happened throughout history. You go back to the Final Solution that happened in the 1920s in America before Hitler took over. So it wouldn't surprise me that these sort of experiments are happening. Maybe perhaps not on humans, but maybe you just don't know. I mean, it's happened in the past. The sort of extent of these diseases escaping out into the real world. I mean, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you could say that this has already happened, that some of the diseases that we're experiencing now were or have been created in some lab somewhere. So I don't know. It's a kind of that question's a really good question, and I'm a little bit scary to talk about it, to be honest. But it's a great question, and thank you for it, because it's making me think. And one of the things I love about these interviews is that you guys ask such good questions that it makes me think of stuff that I hadn't even thought before. So I was just thinking off the cuff there. But yeah, that's a really good question. And who knows? When you first asked it, I thought, of course, that's ridiculous. But no, it's not at all ridiculous. It's very plausible, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Up next, we have Agatha from Slovenia. Scott?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
My question would be, hello. After
hello.
the 100th, hello. After the 100th,
hello again.
Is your second series in a row about the end of the world. Do apocalyptic themes fascinate you, or is this just a coincidence?
It's not. The Lost was also sort of post-apocalyptic. I always think that was the sort of end of the world show. Because if I hadn't pressed the button, then the world would have ended. So do they interest me? Absolutely. I don't know why I keep getting them, but I think it's something that we've all been fascinated with for such a long time. I think I said to another interviewer recently, I remember even as a kid, one of the first things in the Bible, very early on, going into Revelations and reading all about that, thinking, this has been foretold that it's going to happen. So yeah, it's a really interesting fascination that we have, and I was saying that, the Earth being 4.56 billion years, and before humans, what was there? There was, Neanderthal man, there was dinosaurs. So it's only natural for us to assume that the humans will not be here. We will run our course at some point in time. And how will that happen? And when will that happen? And yeah, so as long as what follows humans is not viral, I think we're okay.
Thank you.
Super. Up next, we have Giovanni from Italy.
You are unmuted.
Hi. Hi, nice meeting you.
Hello.
I would like to ask you, how does your character transforms changes during the episodes? And perhaps which would you say are the connection of this story with our global world reality? Thank you very much.
So my character I'm really quite excited for you to see his arc. You see at the beginning, you see him as a gentle man who's trying to do what we assume is the right thing. Because, as I said before, his intentions are quite noble. He wants to save not only his wife, but humanity. But, he's got ego. He's been tempted by perhaps recognition in the scientific field as someone who might have invented something or discovered something fantastic, the cure to all diseases. But then that certainly changes, and I don't know what episode are you guys watching now? Are you watching like very early in one or two?
We arrived at fourth episode, and we're going to see the fifth episode.
Fourth episode. Okay. So anyway, my character, so you'll see that my character certainly changes towards the end, and really the show towards the end gets more crazy and more bonkers, and people have a lot of decisions to make, about what side they're on and what they're going to do. So my character does change. You see him, and I'm excited for you guys to see that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Super. Thank you. Vladi, from Bulgaria, do you want to ask your second question?
Yeah, sure. What is your personal feeling? Will Project Noah save humanity or destroy it?
I think the clue is in the first episode. You see Amy Belafonte with a voiceover, and I think she says she's talking about the end of the world. So I think we already sort of know what's going to happen, right? But the fact that she's saying that in a voiceover means that she survived at some, So I think, that's the answer to that one.
Thank you. And one more question, if you allow. What is it like working with vampires on a day-to-day basis, and has it affected the catering on the show?
Has it affected the catering? I'm vegetarian, so it hasn't affected my taste. I don't all of a sudden have a desire to eat meat or blood. I work closely with Jamie McShane, who is a delight. I have to say, everyone in the show has just been fantastic. This has been one of the happiest tasks I've ever worked with. It's been so much fun. Not only the cast, but the crew and the directors. Everyone has just been, it's been a terrific. So far, we're in the honeymoon period. We've just been loving each other. So it's just been terrific so far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Nicolas, for your second question.
Okay, thank you. We remember you from the time of the Lost. What is your impression? How did the industry of TV series change since then? And would you like maybe to see some new episodes of the Lost? Because new season of the series are always an actual book.
Okay, so I think I understood your question. First of all, you were asking about would I like to see Lost come back as a reboot?
Yes.
Yeah, carry on. You say that.
And can you compare time of the Lost and how did the series evolve since then? Industry of the TV series. Did it change?
The industry. All right. Okay. So I'll take the first part is how does it change? So Lost was my first experience of American television. I didn't really know what I was in. A huge hit. I was working out in Hawaii. I didn't really understand what a big hit it was because we were working in a bubble. And because I was so in it, I didn't really appreciate it. At just on a personal level. But with hindsight, it's something I'm very proud of, and with hindsight, I wish I was more aware of what I was in and enjoyed the moment a lot more. So that's what I'm trying to do from here on in with other jobs. That I try to appreciate being at the moment more. I recently read that ABC somebody mentioned something about a reboot. I can't remember where I read that. Was it the TCA, perhaps the ABC TCA? That they weren't, you know. And I think everyone sort of perked up about the idea of a reboot. You know, people are very much in favor of it or not or against it. Personally, I would love to see a reboot. You know, I still live in Hawaii, and if there were to be a reboot, you know, I'd love to be involved in it in some shape or form. So, yeah, I was that Lost ended too soon. I could have done with another season, but it is what it is, and yeah, I'm all for a reboot. I'd love to see what they do with it.
Great. Great. And about the changing of series?
Changing of what, right?
About the industry of TV series, did they change since the time of the Lost trial?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Did the industry change? Is that what you're asking?
Yes. New series. What is different comparing the time of the Lost when you were working on Lost?
I think when we first started Lost, we were shooting on film. Now everything's shot digitally. I mean, you know, what has changed? Certainly the Me Too movement has changed things, you know. What else has changed? I'm seeing a lot more females on set than before, and not just in you know, in PA roles, but in direct. I see a lot more female directors behind camera. What else have I seen change? The speed is the same, you know. It's still 8-day episodes. We work fast, we work hard. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Move on. Poppy, over to you.
Hi, yeah. So being involved in shows like The Passage and then with like Lost and the 100, you're a pretty big face in cult sci-fi TV right now. Could you talk a bit about that? How do you find the sort of fan reaction to shows like these?
So Lost was a really intelligent sort of just, I love the Lost audience. They were just so smart. They would come up and ask me things that I'd never thought of, and I love that. I love being challenged by the audience. But they were, and one of the things about the Lost audience as well that really stuck with me was that they loved the show so much that so many friendships and groups and associations were formed because of the love of that show, and I think that's really rare. Or that's not rare, but at that time it was rare, and I think that's caught on now. I think, you know, it was right at the start of sort of message boards. It was sort of before Twitter was just starting, I think. But so social media wasn't as big. But I do remember going on the message boards and that sort of all the internet with the shows sort of that started with Lost, I think. And then with that, but yeah, again, so these audiences, the sci-fi audiences, what I love about them is that they're so intelligent. They either love the show or they'll drop it really quickly. The 100 audience is a bit different. They're much smaller, but they're equally rabid. You know, they're so passionate about the show. And the Passage audience, I don't really know who or what they are yet, because the Passage sort of, it's not just sci-fi. I feel it really is there's a lot of heart to that story. But and I've forgotten what I've forgotten what I was talking about. What was the question again? What was the point?
Yeah, the sort of fan reaction. So you pretty much covered that.
Oh, did I? Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. So this is a genre that I personally love. I'm drawn to it. I'm a fan of all the shows, and yeah, I love intelligent sci-fi. You know, anything that makes me question stuff, it has me. So this is my favorite genre. Yeah, and I think The Passage is right up there. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Agatha, over to you.
Animal extinction and very... Hello?
Yeah,
hello, I hear you.
You hear me? Well, if we consider global warming, massive animal extinction, and various ecological disasters, what are your thoughts on the future? Are you an optimist? Are you a pessimist?
I'm an optimist. I don't, I believe that we have the potential to destroy ourselves. I don't think we'll destroy the planet. I think, you heat the Earth up by 5 degrees. I think, we will wipe out, the seas will rise and people will have to move and there will be great chaos among the human race, but something else will take over. Something else always takes over. So that's, the Earth will still be here. We're only going to destroy ourselves. So, but, I'm still optimistic for the planet.
Okay.
Maybe not the human race, but the planet for sure.
Great. Giovanni, over to you. Hello, Giovanni?
Hi, I'm here. Another question? Yeah, I would be curious if you have any relationship with Italy and Italian cinema, since you traveled all the world from Latin America to Great Britain. Do you have any kind of a relationship with Italy?
Oh, I'm sorry, Giovanni. I don't really. I've been to Rome once, which I thought was amazing. But I really had. I'm trying to think of connections I have with anything Italian. Gosh.
Okay,
no,
next time.
I've only been to Rome. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on that one. I'm trying to think of Italian films that I love, but Fellini, yeah. Early Fellini, I remember. Okay, what did he do? Oedipus. I remember Oedipus. His version of, I think it's Fellini's Oedipus Rex was. I'm blanking here. I don't know. I'm just waffling now.
Okay, next time.
Sorry.
You're busy this week. Thanks.
You want to go for a second question, Giovanni?
I of this story to actual reality, which ones would you be? They can be the connection of this viral story to our actual world.
Okay, so if I understand it, the connection to the passage to our world at the moment.
Sure.
I think I kind of answered that one already.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, are all of you listening to the same answers?
Yeah. I did. No, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. And about the emotions you built in your character, like the backstory is your wife has Alzheimer's disease. So how do you work into building the character, into building the emotions of him?
I guess I would just put myself in a situation. I have a wife, so that I've been with for a very long time, and Alzheimer's is something that is, I've known people who are suffered from it, and dementia, and it's very sad to see. And so you just put myself in that position and hope that the emotion just comes out naturally.
Yeah, sure. And I read, did you change slightly the appearance of the character? Like in the book is wild-eyed, long-haired, a little bit crazy scientist, and is slightly different in the series, isn't it?
Yes. So yes, you're right. So in the book, that was a line that I when I read the book that I sort of gravitated to. I thought, I wish I'd read the book before I shot the pilot, because I would have maybe liked to have gone down that route a bit more. But as you see from the show, we deviate slightly from the book.
Yeah.
Well, not slightly, we quite a bit actually, but but on the plus side, in the book, Leah doesn't really feature that much, and so far, touch wood, in season, I have a really good backstory with Fanning, so I'm really happy the way it's turned out.
Sure. And
Brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. No problem. Vladi, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Did you have to meet Justin Cronin, and if yes, what advice did he give your character?
No, Justin Cronin and I have met and we've spoken about the show, and we've spoken about the differences between the book and the show, but he never really gave me any advice. He just told me, just reiterated what I knew about my character, that I'm, what I in the book, what happens to the character. So what's interesting about doing this show is we have source material, so we know exactly where the ending is. It's just a matter of how we get there.
Yeah, exactly. And did you have any specific training or a medical briefing in order to get into character?
No, but I've treated a lot of scientists, so I don't know if that's. I've worn a white coat quite a few times. But no, I've not had any specific training. No. I had to be shown how to put the stethoscope around my neck. That's about it.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Nicola, do you want to go next?
Yes, I'm interested. Can you share maybe with us some interesting moments from the show, from the shooting, something that you will remember? Do you have some anecdote?
There were so many moments. It's difficult to pinpoint one. It's just we shot out in Atlanta in between August and December. It was my first time in Atlanta, and it's a fantastic city. I really loved being out there. We shot near a place called Stone Mountain, but yeah, Atlanta was wonderful. The people are great. I'd love to shoot there again. Who knows if we'll be back? Fingers crossed, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Poppy, do you want to go next?
Sure, thank you. So you briefly mentioned earlier the sort of father-daughter relationship that runs throughout the passage. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that. Like, does the show come with like an extra kind of human element amongst all the the science and the death and things?
Yeah, I think that's the heart of the show. That father-daughter relationship between Brad Wilgass and Amy Belafonte. And I have to say, Sanaya Sidney and Mark Paul Gosselaar are just phenomenal, I think, in their roles. They just bring an added something. I watched that and I think they're terrific, especially Sanaya, who's so young and just so subtle and so much sass and humor. And she's really got that character down. I think she's doing a terrific job. But yeah, that's the ones we're rooting for. She's going to be the savior of the world. So so you'll see the people who step up to defend her, and she's already got the agent. What episode are you on? Did you say 4?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so you'll just see. So as the show progresses, you'll just see who else is, steps up to save her, and people just sort of fall in love with her, and well, she's on the side of the humans, so it really does become a battle between. I'm giving away too much. I guess you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Agatha, for the last question.
Yes, thank you. I'm wondering, can you morally excuse your character's actions? Is like sacrificing the person to save another human life ever justifiable, in your opinion?
In my opinion, gosh, that's such a tricky question. That's where the character lives, right? And I think so. You have my opinion. Well, if it were me, I would not have gone to Bolivia. I would have stayed with my wife. That's probably what I would have done. But it's not about me. It's about Leah. So I think Jonas Leah is probably in every day he must ask himself that question. I think he said, why? What? If only I hadn't gone to Bolivia. If only I had done what Elizabeth said and stayed with her. I think that must be running through his thoughts pretty much every day. And then But then, as I said, he's thinking, if I can just perfect this, and if I can just make that cure to save everyone. So he keeps on experimenting. He keeps going down that rabbit hole, thinking that I can just, because every time he's so close, and that's his tragedy, really, that he's just been tempted by this cure that will make all the wrongs right for him. Can he justify it? I know. I think that he's not. I think he's in a terrible state of guilt and turmoil, in a remorse. Yeah, and you'll see that in the show. Actually, it does come out in episode 10. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for dining today.
Thank you very much.
For your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your questions. They were all really great. They were giving me a lot of food for thought. Thank you for that.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye. 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 Bye.
Goodbye.